Research shows that the coverage rate for COVID-19 vaccination is different among women and men. In many countries, women have a lower coverage rate of COVID-19 vaccination than men. Women in your community may face unique barriers to accessing the COVID-19 vaccine. Understanding gender-specific barriers to access and addressing them will help you improve vaccination coverage and maximize the protective benefits of COVID-19 vaccines for everyone in the community. In this video, we will review 5 potential barriers women may face in accessing the COVID-19 vaccine, as well as possible solutions to address those barriers. But first, how do you know if women in your community experience barriers to accessing the COVID-19 vaccine and what those barriers are? Start by speaking with women in the community. Consider different kinds of barriers to access that women may face, such as their thoughts, feelings and motivation for vaccination, social barriers or practical barriers. For example, are there individual barriers, such as a woman's thoughts, feelings and motivation or intentions that affect her decision to be vaccinated? Are there social barriers, such as cultural or religious factors or community norms that influence women's care-seeking behaviour? Or are there practical barriers, such as the location or time the vaccine is available, that make it difficult for women to get vaccinated? Once you understand what the barriers to COVID-19 vaccination are for women in the community, you may then select the best interventions to address those barriers. It may also be helpful to examine the barriers again as the preventative measures in place in your community change. For example, are the barriers to COVID-19 vaccination different when lockdown measures have been lifted? In this video, we will look at some structural, social and individual barriers women may face in accessing the COVID-19 vaccine, starting with limited mobility and time. In some communities, women may not be able to travel to health facilities because of lack of time, lack of money, or there may be cultural restrictions that prohibit women from leaving the house without a male chaperone. One possible solution to address this barrier is to bring vaccines to places and events that women frequent. This could include bringing vaccination services to homes, markets or bazaars, women's groups or community health centres closer to where women live. Create awareness in the community about when and where services will be available. By making it easier to get vaccinated and bringing services to women, they will not need to spend extra time or money or endure unnecessary hassles to access the vaccine. And when services are offered in places that women frequent, a social norm can be created as women see other women, particularly women they may know, getting vaccinated. Another barrier women may face in getting the COVID-19 vaccine is the preference to receive the vaccine from a female health worker. In some communities, women feel more comfortable receiving their medical care from other women and may choose not to get vaccinated if they think they will be treated by a male health worker. One solution is to ensure access to female healthcare providers and make sure women in the community know female providers are available. To create a safe space for women to get vaccinated, you could provide access to a vaccination site with all female staff and health workers. Identify and promote existing facilities with female health workers. Or provide women-only vaccination sites or times. In some settings, women may have limited decision-making power even over their own healthcare needs. In these settings, the decision about whether or not women get vaccinated may be determined by another member of the household, such as a man or elder family member. Engaging men on women's right to vaccination can help address this barrier. Educate men about the importance of getting the entire population vaccinated, including the women in their families. Another barrier women in the community may face is fear of possible side effects from the vaccine. Fear of side effects related to fertility may be particularly worrisome for women who are pregnant or intending to have children. Share positive stories from many different women who have received the vaccine. This will demonstrate that the vaccine is safe and appropriate for women. Feature pregnant women sharing their fears and how they overcame them to get vaccinated. In some communities, women may be more likely to stay at home and go out less for work or socialization than men. This may lead women to think they have a lower risk of getting COVID-19 and have less of a need for the vaccine. To address this barrier, present messages to women that highlight the risk of getting COVID-19 and emphasize the importance of getting vaccinated to protect themselves and their loved ones. It is also important to identify and understand the needs and barriers to vaccination for gender-diverse people. Gender-diverse persons might not identify with the gender that was assigned to them at birth, or they might not identify with any gender identity being assigned to them at all. These individuals often experience additional challenges when accessing health services. Engage with gender-diverse people through community organizations to identify the specific barriers to accessing COVID-19 vaccination they may face within the community. Consider adjusting how vaccination services are organized and managed to accommodate the needs of gender-diverse people. For example, include privacy measures, and in settings where gender-segregated spaces are culturally required, provide options for people whose gender does not match their IDs. Leverage diverse communication channels to reach gender-diverse people with information about COVID-19 vaccination. For any barrier to COVID-19 vaccination you identify, involve women and gender-diverse people from the community when planning solutions. This will help ensure the services you offer meet their needs and the messages resonate with them. You should now have a better understanding of some potential barriers women may face in accessing the COVID-19 vaccine and possible solutions to address them.